Welcome to Iron Chef America, Battle of the Masters. I'm your chairman, and I have dedicated my life to my twin passions, the martial arts, and now the art of cooking. The urge to eat is one of our most primal, but the chefs who stand before us are men of unimpeachable sophistication. This is not a fight among enemies, but rather a band of culinary brothers putting one another to the ultimate test of their skills. This is Iron Chef America, the battle of the masters.
Hi folks, I'm Alton Brown, your humble professor of cuisine. Now that we've gotten a taste of our new chairman's style, it looks like our chairman is ready to make the formal introductions that will put the flame to tonight's competition. Let's see what the big guy has to say for himself.
America is the world's biggest and most varied melting pot, and our three American Iron Chefs reflect that same eclectic and open-minded spirit. First, Wolfgang Puck. Second, Mario Batali. Finally, Bobby Flay.
Puck, Batali, and Flay. Three chefs from America's pantheon of great culinary minds. And now, here's our chairman again with introductions for the Iron Chef Masters of Japan.
First, Iron Chef French, Hiroyuki Sakai. Second, Iron Chef Japanese, Masaharu Morimoto. These men are true masters. They have proven their prowess. And so today, as your new chairman, it is my honor, my privilege, to declare that Iron Chef Masaharu Morimoto will face off against Iron Chef Mario Batali. Gentlemen, prepare for battle. In our kitchen stadium, there are two chefs, two minds, two hearts, two passionate and sensitive souls on the line. But there is only one secret ingredient. Today, the secret ingredient is spiny lobster. And now in Kitchen Stadium, USA, I am privileged to stand on American soil and proclaim those delicious words of my beloved Uncle Kaga. With an open heart and empty stomach, I say unto you, America, Allez cuisine!
There's the chairman's familiar allez cuisine, the French phrase that calls the Iron Chefs to culinary battle. We're just seconds into Battle Spiny Lobster. The teams have 60 minutes to prepare 5 dishes incorporating the secret ingredient.
And I personally would be a lot happier working with those than the American lobster because, of course, American lobsters will take your arm clean off if you're not paying close attention. You know, Ken, these are actually related to freshwater crayfish, although they do, of course, taste like lobster and can be cooked almost identically to lobster.
And Alton, with the spiny lobster, are you only really concentrating on the tail?
You are pretty much just after tail meat, although some chefs really do like the meat that's inside the other, the other legs, the 10 legs. Primarily what we're out for here will probably be the tail.
On Morimoto's side of the kitchen, they've already broken out the rice cooker. Maybe they'll be making some sushi. I certainly hope so. And it seems strategies are being developed on Chef Batali's side.
And then we'll go with a zeppole or a lobster. All right, you start on yours, I'll start on mine.
Okay, a lot of action over on the Morimoto side of the equation. Rocks will be an ingredient today over on the Japanese side, and he's heating those up in his convection oven. On the floor, our spirited correspondent, Kevin Brosh.
Thanks, Alton. Good evening, everyone. We have a bit of a hazard in the Japanese kitchen. There's a number of hot rocks all over the floor, so we're going to be making sure nobody steps and slips.
Well, safety first. That's why we've got those mats over there. And here we go, tail coming off the lobster. There it goes. You know, the average spiny lobster can live 25 years. I don't know how old this one was, but he won't be having another birthday.
The serious prep work has begun. Chef Batali is busy disassembling some red onions. You know, this is the time when the chefs need to really hunker down, get focused, and commit to a game plan.
At first glance, the matching of the enigmatic Morimoto with the more whimsical Batali might seem a little odd, but when you think about it, they've actually got a great deal in common. Although their respective cuisines are based in ancient tradition, they are both mavericks who have made names for themselves not by playing by the rules, but by breaking the rules. Morimoto's food combines Japanese know-how with New World verve, while Batali certainly made a name for himself by using Old World ingredients combined with New York nerve. If I was a gambling man, I'd have to say this one is dead even.
Hey, Kevin, do you have any juicy tidbits from the floor?
We have some beautiful tuna being chopped up here by Ann, one of Chef Batali's sous chefs.
So we've got we know that we've got lobster working, and now tuna has come to the party. Let's keep an eye on how she fabricates that further.
It looks like we're ready for some steaming, Alton, over in the Japanese kitchen.
Some boiling, big pot of water, and he's got his tails going in. Looks like he's going to do a quick blanch on those tails. Of course, they're going to curl up pretty quickly on him because of that hot water. I'm betting they're not going to stay in there very long.
Now in the blender down the counter, Alton, we have some white shrimp, and that's going to be blended.
Well, I would say anything going in that machine definitely would be. Morimoto is moving on. He did quickly blanch those tails, got them out of the water. Now he's removing the meat. So that meat is blanched, but by no means done. So it means he's definitely going to be taking this to another level. He's either going to be serving it raw or he's going to continue to cook it.
Back on Batali's side of the kitchen, some pancetta has emerged.
And it's usually used as a flavoring agent, the way that American cooks would use bacon or fatback or salt pork even. Over on the Japanese side, I'm thinking that there's a soup coming together here. Can't be sure yet, but looking around at what they've got laid out in pots and the way that they've portioned up those lobsters, I definitely think a soup is in the works.
Hey, Kevin, I see that one of Iron Chef Batali's sous chefs has dropped some thinly sliced potatoes into a deep fryer. What's up with that?
Mark is actually working on a mock cannelloni to be filled with some sort of lobster sauce.
So they're going to be curling those up.
Exactly.
Making little rounds out of them and stuffing them. Ingenious. Do me a favor, check on the pots and pan action that Chef Batali's working. He's got a lot of stuff bubbling away there.
Okay. Chef Batali, any hints on the stove? What we have simmering?
We've got onions with lobster stock and a little pancetta. We've got peas with lobster stock and a little bit of red chilies. We've got plain old ordinary pancetta fat going to become what's called a sugo finto, kind of a tomato sauce made on just a couple of things. This is a broth with some dried shrimp, some habanero chilies, some onions, and I'm going to just get a really quick stock sent into my milk so that I'm going to create that as the base for our soup.
15 minutes have elapsed.
It's still early in this battle, and spiny lobster is today's theme. We've seen Chef Morimoto blanching lobster and beginning a soup stock, while Chef Batali already has one of his dishes taking shape, a lobster cannelloni that will be crafted from those thinly sliced and deep-fried potatoes. What the heck is Morimoto up to with those rocks? We'll find out when Iron Chef America Battle of the Masters returns. Welcome back to Iron Chef America Battle of the Masters. The chairman of America's Gourmet Academy is a man of many moves, a man of wealth and taste, who speaks often about the mental discipline required for both the martial arts and the culinary arts. Today, it's Battle Spiny Lobster, and the chairman has pitted Iron Chefs Mario Batali and Matsuharu Morimoto against one another here in Kitchen Stadium. To find out who will taste and judge all their wondrous lobster creations, let's go to my colleague Kevin Brosh on the floor.
Thanks, Alton. Konbanwa, good evening, everyone. I'm here at the judges' table with a man you'll most certainly recognize as Jay Peterman from Seinfeld. Welcome, John O'Hurley. She plays Julie Cooper, a woman with a lust for life, among other things, on the OC. A woman who knows what she likes, Melinda Clark. Finally, we have a powerhouse chef, and he's become a defining force in modern American food. Chef Kerry Simon.
Thanks, Kevin. The action continues, and Morimoto is working feverishly to remove the meat from some truly beautiful spiny lobsters.
Mario, how are you faring?
I'm a lucky man.
He's a lucky man. I would take that as a good sign. We have some sun-dried tomatoes in olive oil there?
Actually, that's just tomato paste.
It's just tomato paste, okay.
And the olive oil is actually pork fat.
So I was wrong on both counts. So what do we have going on in here,
This
sir?
is the basis of our pea soup.
Thanks, Kevin. I'm wondering how pea soup and spiny lobsters are going together. That's a Chef Batali mystery still to be resolved.
We've just heard from the translator for Morimoto. After 15 minutes of this kitchen battle, he's a bit concerned about things. We're not sure what's getting to him. Maybe it's the new kitchen, maybe it's some of the ingredients, maybe it's just the jet lag. Who knows?
You know, the man is a professional. He's going to bring this out, no question about it. But I would definitely stay out of his way, Kevin.
I've seen the knives in this place,
yeah.
and you've warned me about them all week.
Yeah, if he's got the knife in his hand, just give him clear berth. So I noticed that over on the American side, Mario is definitely working on a filling with part of that, and we can only assume that that is for the cannoli that he is, or the faux cannoli that he's going to be making out of the potatoes.
Alton.
Yes.
I think you're seeing a shot right now of the Japanese kitchen. Are these fish flakes?
That could be fresh bonito flakes. I did not see them shave any down, though, although I did see that they had a grater.
It sounds like a fish stock is being prepared for something to come later.
You know, bonito flakes are kind of like that, along with kelp, makes dashi, which is like chicken stock in a Japanese kitchen. It's used as a flavor base and a liquid base for a wide range of different dishes. There he's got some kelp. I'm thinking that's wakame. I think it's how it's pronounced. Maybe you should just go in there and ask him. I'm sure he'll be friendly about it.
Sir? Kombu. It's kombu, Alton.
Oh, kombu. I'm sorry. Didn't recognize it. I've only seen that in its dry form.
It's quite large. I can't imagine swimming through that.
Kombu is one of the ingredients that's usually combined with bonito flakes to make dashi, the stock that's used so often there. And then they also use it exactly as Chef Morimoto is, as a wrapper. It's strong enough, has enough connective tissue in it to stand up to that. A lot of chefs say that they like it because it contains glutamic acid, which is a flavor derivative similar to that of MSG. So very often it's used in cooking where it's just kind of sliced open in a few places to get that flavor out. Okay, he's almost making himself a little burrito, so to speak, out of the kombu, that kelp being wrapped around the lobster. There's a lot of things that he could do with it at this point. Odds are very, very good that he's going to cook it in such a way as to get flavor from that kelp into the lobster, but then he'll probably discard it. You very, very rarely see kombu used in big pieces like that in cooking. It's just too strong.
The skewers that Chef Morimoto has carefully inserted into those lobster tails will help keep them straight when they cook. You know, they have a tendency to curl up, and the skewers will prevent that.
Now, I'm not sure if that same lobster, Alton, was actually dipped in the ice water, but there was cognac added to that ice water earlier, maybe to give it some extra flavor.
Kombu, kelp, and cognac will begin to define what Chef Morimoto is doing with that lobster. And speaking of defining Morimoto, let's see what one of his past rivals has to say about the man known as Iron Chef Japanese.
Iron Chef Bobby Flay has tangled head-to-head with Morimoto in battles past. In your experience, what makes Morimoto such a fierce competitor?
Oh, he's sort of stealthy in a sense. You don't know what he's up to, but it always winds up being something that we've never seen before, which is always a good thing for Morimoto. His food is crisp, it's clean, it's exciting, it's flavorful, and there's always a surprise at the last minute, that's for sure.
Yeah, do you feel, when you've competed with him in the past, does it feel like kind of he's messed with you? Is he a head games kind of guy?
I think he plays head games with himself, because you can't really tell what's going on. With Morimoto, I mean, there's a lot of action, a lot of speed, lots of stuff happening, but I can't really tell what's going on. So, but I'm sure something great will happen at the last minute.
You were going to whisper something into Mario's ear right now to give him an edge. What would it be?
Hurry up.
Hurry up! Yeah,
the clock is
hurry
ticking,
up indeed.
for sure.
Can I interject there, Alton? We have some really interesting stuff happening here behind Mario with Anne, the sous chef. She's actually using scissors to open up the sea urchins, and they're going to be using those. They're prepping them for a soup that's being made.
And I would say, judging from her hairstyle, that she's tangled with this kind of critter before. You know, stay in there, because you know what she's going to have to harvest out of there. You know, when we crack open sea urchins, we're really just looking for the roe sacks, the eggs that are in there. And I've got no idea what you would do with the rest of what she's straining out there.
Now, over in the Japanese kitchen, Alton, we have some interesting stuff. There's a blend being made. It sounds like it's shrimp, lobster, the white mountain potato, and it's actually going to be created into a noodle, if you can believe that.
Kevin, I can believe just about anything when it comes to white mountain potatoes. They have kind of a gooey texture when they're pureed, and if you add just a little bit of egg, it can all act kind of like a glue to bind ingredients. So it seems to be perfect for making noodles.
Well, I want to go back over to these sea urchins for a second, because they're a real challenge to harvest, either here in the States on the Pacific coast or Japan, because typically, to be considered truly edible, you've got to have at least, I think it's 3 days of calm water, supposedly, before you can harvest them, or they won't taste right.
Well, I should probably go up and get some words from our judges and find out what they think of this battle right now.
Since they've got a pretty unique bird's eye view of Kitchen Stadium, I'd love to know what they're thinking.
Hello, Melinda.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How you doing?
I'm very concerned about this sea urchin. Quite
you?
honestly, it's you know, traditionally I've only tried it in the sushi restaurants, and it wasn't necessarily one of my favorites, but I'm fascinated to see what the result will be. I'm also fascinated by the speed in which they're working, and is that a normal speed on a regular night in a restaurant?
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's a different focus here. I mean, these guys are working like with an unspoken communication with everybody. It's like
Right.
they know each other so well that they just seem to go off and do what they have to do. So it's like they're just working so focused and under so much pressure that they just go forward.
You're
know?
impressed by both teams here tonight.
Well, they know the clock's ticking and it's only an hour, and so you're just hoping you're going to get across the finish line with everything done. I think that's the kind of like the whole point of it.
Hey, let's get close up on Chef Vitali, it looks like he's rolling up those little cannelloni out of the blanched potato pieces. And I think it's got pancetta and certainly some lobster in the filling.
Okay, so in the Japanese kitchen, Alton, we're making some lobster puree right now.
So that they've actually cut up the lobster meat and are pushing it through what's called a tammy, at least what we would call it here in the United States, to very, very, very finely, turn that into a light mousse component.
Now, in Kitchen America, in my very own personal fear factor, or more likely the chef's personal fear factor, you know the little sea urchin bowls that we had here? They're actually going to be serving the soup in it, from what I understand.
20 minutes to go.
Spiny lobster is taking shape in a number of dishes. Don't know what Morimoto has planned for that mixture. We've seen him preparing those lobsters in kombu kelp wraps, while Chef Vitali has pea soup underway. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it's destined for those emerging sea urchin bowls. But we'll find out when we return to Kitchen Stadium for Iron Chef America Battle of the Masters. Welcome back to Kitchen Stadium. We're past the midway point for Battle Spiny Lobster, and if there's a theme emerging here, it's all about wrapping up lobsters. Lobster has found its way into Chef Morimoto's lush green pieces of kombu kelp, while lobster is being rolled into thinly sliced potato strips for Chef Vitali's cannelloni. Meanwhile, Chef Morimoto has been working on a mixture with a soy milk base. Because it's certainly healthier and probably in a cooking environment acts very, very differently. He's also loaded his mouth with a CO2 canister, which most of us recognize from our BB gun days. I can only hope that he's going to take it out of his mouth before using it. Don't try this at home, kids. So before the battle began, here's what each chef had to say about his competitor's style and technique.
Morimoto is a formidable opponent. He's together, he's smart, he's young, he looks hip. I've eaten at his restaurant in Philadelphia, Morimoto, which is it's a spectacular restaurant with spectacular food, so, I'm nervous.
He's really familiar on TV, Bum, bum, da, 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 da. I really like his theme song. So he's very talented. He's a nice guy, always smiling. So I think he's a really good chef. I approve of his style.
So word from my sources on the floor is that Chef Vitali is moving along with a lobster saltimbocca. Now, most people are familiar with the traditional saltimbocca romana, made with a thin scallop of veal, fresh sage, and then covered with a slice of prosciutto. Now, the whole thing is usually held together with a toothpick and fried in butter. Then it's served with a pan gravy made with marsala wine. Now, this is Chef Vitali's variation on that theme, using lobster instead of veal.
So Morimoto has loaded up his soy milk lobster combination in basically a seltzer bottle, a bar bottle. So he's going to whip that up. He's going to make a froth out of it, or like whipped cream.
They say it's going to be very foamy. That's the best I can work right now with the...
Well, it's definitely not going to be the stuff inside a Twinkie, I'll tell you that.
I haven't found the chocolate icing yet, though. I'm still looking for that.
Looks like a mayonnaise might also be being made over here on the American side of things, as our sous chef is very slowly pouring what I think to be extra virgin olive oil into a food processor with the paste already in it.
Alton?
Yes?
We have some noodles about to be made over here in the Japanese kitchen.
Well, we knew that they were going to be making their own pasta base.
It's almost like in an icing bag, it looks like.
In a replay, we see that Chef Morimoto got a bit of his own mix shot back in his face there. He had put lobster meat, Japanese white mountain potato, and egg into that blender to create the pasta base.
Looks like it's going straight into the pan. He's making funnel cakes. He's making lobster funnel cakes.
It is going straight in there, Alton. You're completely right on that.
So he's basically making pasta out of this. He's become a noodle extruder. Kind of like that Play-Doh factory you used to play with when you were a kid. Just push the handle and squeeze it right out. So definitely Morimoto is making noodles. He's cooking them very, very quickly. And I can't really tell what the liquid is. I've missed that. Looks like a
Kelp stock. Okay, so the noodles, Alton, are actually being cooked in a kelp stock.
in kelp stock. He's got it at a bare simmer, and then he's getting them out fast into an ice bath to stop the cooking. Makes plenty of sense. I gotta catch up with the American side over here. Looks like they're cutting up hearts of palm, and I think that's fresh, which is something you don't see very often, except in Florida. Yeah. You know, hearts of palm come out of the cabbage palm, which is a state tree of Florida, and generally Florida is the only place where you see them fresh. The rest of us usually get them canned.
So Alton, Anne is actually doing something really interesting here with potash choux. She's dicing lobster and adding it into the mixer.
Okay, potash choux, of course, is one of the world's great dough mixtures. It's a steam leavened dough that most of us are familiar with from having cream puffs and eclairs and whatnot. It's got a huge advantage in that it can be flavored by adding almost anything to it.
Actually, Alton, they're going to be deep fried. Anne tells me they're going to be like a little savory donut.
That's right, like a little savory donut. Sounds good. But I think what you're referring to, Kevin, is what Italians call a zipole, which is a very light fritter.
So there's actually a lot of great food philosophy going on with Morimoto. You know, he's made these noodles out of the soy milk and the lobster, and he's cooking them in a broth that is essentially the essence of the sea. It's a kelp based broth, and so he's literally going to be able to infuse the flavor of the ocean right back into those noodles. It's going to be a fascinating flavor. Chipotle setting some things on fire. Fire marshal standing by.
In the replay, we can see Chef Vitale adding some Marsala wine to that pan, and that's the alcohol burning off. And this will most certainly be part of his sauce for that lobster saltimbocca.
I almost think I see Morimoto smiling about his noodles. He must finally be pleased with the way things are turning out in the new kitchen stadium. He is. He's smiling.
He is. Things are picking up. He's quite happy with the noodles. I think we're going to be very impressed with these dishes.
There's a new development in the Japanese kitchen. One of Morimoto's sous chefs is pan-frying some spiny lobster tails. And we'll have to follow that to see what they continue to add. And now I see that Chef Vitale is adding mushrooms that he cooked in that Marsala wine. All part of his lobster saltimbocca, to be sure. By the way, saltimbocca means jump in the mouth because it tastes so good. And I would say that's going to apply here as well.
You're working on the 5 plates of medallions? Right, Mark? That's what I need next.
Ooh, sweetbreads have come out and are going into a pan over on the American side. Looks like the sous chef is sorting those through, tearing them up. Those look like those are neck sweetbreads, taken from the thymus glands of the cat.
Alton, I found out a bit more about those. Mark is going to dip them in flour, deep fry them, and serve them with the hearts of palm and some black truffle.
Excellent. Okay, Morimoto's brought out a lot of herbs. Try to get over there and find out what he's got working there, Kevin.
I will, and as I'm doing that, I've noticed that Anne, to match that, has pulled out the cappuccino maker.
Well,
it looks like she's steaming some milk there.
It's war. When the Italians break out the espresso cappuccino maker, you know that somebody's getting serious. Maybe she's just starting to feel a little tired and needs a pick-me-up.
There are only about 8 minutes left in this competition, and the artistry of Chef Morimoto is evident as his plating begins.
There's some of the lobster meat, it seems, going down next to his new noodles. Where does he get all those beautiful plates?
You got chives for me, sister? And you got a chiffonade of parsley, right?
Chef Vitale giving a stir to his pea soup. I'm told he has added small pieces of the lobster meat to that mixture.
The pasta, Alton, has been garnished with grated garlic and miyaga, which is, I guess, a Japanese aromatic.
I also see scallions mixed with that miyoga ginger, which in Japanese cuisine is typically shredded into a garnish for sashimi, salads, and soups.
Okay, and it looks like the tempura is hitting the fat, hot fat. I'll be really curious to see if they're going to serve daikon or any grated daikon alongside that. It's very typical accompaniment to tempura because it supposedly helps aid digestion. So I noticed that over on the American side, her donuts are going down. I'm hoping to score one of those before the day is over.
Maybe that's the only thing we are going to get to eat here, Alton, in Kitchen Stadium.
I don't know. It's a donut. The crew will get to them first. Trust me.
That's true.
This is a union town. Believe me, those things are gone.
10 minutes to go.
Well, the Masters will continue to battle it out when Iron Chef America returns. We
are back in Kitchen Stadium, America. The question today is, how beautiful can lobster be? Well, let me count the ways. Chef Morimoto has been working on fresh lobster noodles that are being cooked in a kelp broth. Chef Vitali has been working on a dramatic lobster saltimbocca with mushrooms cooked in marsala wine. He's also had his sous chefs working up a fritter of sorts called a zippole. These are also filled with lobster. Kevin, what do you see from your vantage point on the floor?
Things are going well here, Alton, with Chef Morimoto. Seems very pleased right now. As Chef Vitali was doing moments ago, I think we're going to get good offerings from both sides here in Kitchen Stadium.
Excellent.
Alton, we're getting ready to plate here in the Japanese kitchen. Morimoto, the timer went off on the rice machine. We're going to see one of the dishes being created right now.
I want to know what Chef Morimoto is he just rinsing rice and adding it back into his soup stock?
5 minutes to go.
Okay, so he's adding that to his soup, which he's got an enameled vessel right there on the cooktop. A very Japanese procedure, not something you see very often in the United States. We could certainly learn from that. I know I am.
And of course, we have more frying going on, Alton, in the Japanese kitchen.
Well, it makes a lot of sense. Here at the end, you would definitely want to hold your frying off until the last. Tempura especially will get soggy if it's left out in the air very long. And although I'm not familiar with the zippole that they're making on the American side, I can only assume they are best when served warm.
Alton, we have Mark is doing a plated lobster carpaccio.
I guess you could call that a carpaccio, Kevin, but with that fine chop of tuna we saw earlier in Chef Vitali's kitchen, I'd say this is destined to be another variation on a traditional veal dish. In this case, vitello tonnato, a kind of veal with a tuna sauce. And I did see Vitali's troops making an aioli earlier, a garlic mayonnaise that may end up on this plate.
The chairman is in motion.
He is. He's walking over towards the judges' stands.
Well, I've gotten a look at his chair, and if I had to sit in that for an entire hour, I'd have to get up and stretch my legs, too. Over on the American side of the equation, they're going to top their carpaccio with that tonnato sauce. So this is definitely a tonnato. Morimoto's plating something really fascinating over here. He's actually filling these little glasses with the lobster mousse. Fascinating. And he's broken out a can of caviar.
I want to know, Alton, would you slam that back as a shooter, or is that something you're going to eat with a spoon?
Well, only if he pours a good portion of sake in there along with it would I throw it back like a shooter.
That might be a great accompaniment.
That caviar, if I'm not mistaken from this view, I think that's a Cetra caviar from a Cetra sturgeon. It's generally lighter in color than the rare beluga caviar, which is, of course, an endangered fish.
And there's a lot of texture going on there. You have the caviar mixed with the crunchiness of the cucumber bed that it's sitting on, and then you'll hit the smoothness of that lobster mousse. And remember, that mousse started life as a sort of mash of lobster that was being forced through the screen of the tammy. We saw it earlier.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby.
Oh, look, the soup is actually going into the sea urchins over on the American side. I hope they have spoons that are spine safe.
Alton, we have some bamboo leaves over here in the Japanese kitchen. We don't know exactly what they're going to be used for yet, but there is some sashimi out here as well. So,
well, I imagine he's going to use them strictly as garnish or as a serving platform. As far as I know, you don't eat them unless you're a panda.
So we have several finished dishes here in Chef Mario Vitali's kitchen.
Give me the rundown, Kevin.
We have some beautiful foam that's going on top of the sea urchin cups with our soup inside.
So basically, he's making cappuccino, only he's doing it with sea urchins.
It's a flavor I haven't seen in many coffee joints.
What else do we have over there? What is he grating right now? Is that Batarga?
Mark?
What?
No, what is it?
Lobster roe.
Lobster roe. Well, that's pretty rare stuff, Kevin. They're really fortunate to have that on hand. And there we see that pan-fried lobster in Morimoto's kitchen. They're now adding what looks to be some peanut oil. Hey, Kevin, what's happening with Chef Vitali?
And Mario's just pulled out the cannelloni, the thinly cut potato cannelloni.
And the fresh wasabi is finally coming into play over there as well.
Chef Vitali has plated some of those zippole. Kids, we've got less than 3 minutes left here at Kitchen Stadium.
And there is a lot of urgency in the kitchen as people move very quickly to finish up their dishes. Sweetbreads, it seems, are coming up.
And now there's the first lobster saltimbocca hitting the plate.
So we definitely can see at least 5 dishes being prepared by Chef Vitali.
5 dishes being plated by Chef Vitali.
Currently, we have 3 finished in
3 finished
Chef
dishes
Morimoto's
over
kitchen.
in Chef Morimoto's kitchen, and there are just over 2 minutes left in this competition here in our brand new kitchen stadium.
Great.
And I can count 2 more dishes, so I think we will have 5 from Chef Morimoto as well. It will be a 5 on 5.
Chef Morimoto is clear on 5. We've got the mousse, the noodles, the wrap, the tempura, and what's the 5th?
And we have the rocks out. We have the hot rocks out, Alton, right now.
There are the rocks right there. Chef Morimoto's got some big mitts. He's adding that into a really big pot of Japanese design. I can't tell if that's enameled or not, although it looks like it from here. That's the completed lobster saltimbocca. Those are fried sweetbreads and the fresh hearts of palm we saw being prepared earlier.
Alton?
Yes. Intel, please.
It's big fun right here. Into that red enamel pot, we also have some tea leaves and some sake going in as well.
1 minute to go.
Okay, so basically, Chef Morimoto's got a big pot of rocks, hot rocks. He's added some aromatics in the way of the sake and the tea leaves. He just tossed them in, crazy guy. And now he's going to add his wraps to that. And I imagine he's going to bury them down in those rocks so that they get even heating all the way around. He's going to have to bring it together quickly because we're looking at 45 seconds left in this competition. Whatever they are going to do is going to have to happen very, very quickly. Chef Morimoto running.
Wow, this is the loudest it's been in here. Are you having fun, Alton?
I'm just glad I'm not in the kitchen, Kevin. Less than 30 seconds is the countdown.
Anne's back at the cappuccino maker. I think they're finishing off the last of the soups.
Well, they might need to rev up their foam just a little bit. It's certainly been sitting there for a few minutes, and it may have deflated a little bit.
15 seconds to go.
And the kelp is going into the enameled pots.
Chef Morimoto has just about 8 seconds for those lobster kelp wraps to cook in those very hot rocks.
5 seconds.
Chef Vitali is done plating, making sure everything looks perfect.
1.
And it's over. Battle Spiny Lobster is now in the culinary history books. Kevin, any thoughts from the chefs?
How'd it feel? You're smiling.
A lot of work to do.
Yeah, I don't think I really heard a peep from you. Is that how your kitchen always operates?
We do operate a very quiet kitchen. I'm the only one that generally makes noise because that's usually I'm the one doing the least amount of work. Today we divided up pretty evenly, so I had less time to yak and I needed more time to crack.
Chef Morimoto, are you happy?
Yes!
Congratulations, thank you very much.
Well, there you have it, folks. Both chefs seem quite pleased. 12 dishes in 60 minutes. I'm tired just thinking about it. All dishes featuring our secret ingredient, spiny lobster. The Iron Chef's striking creations have been plated and are being prepared for the judges. Well, we anxiously and hungrily await the verdict. The battle of Mario Vitali versus Morimoto. Iron Chef America will be back. Hi, everybody. Alton Brown here, welcoming you back to Kitchen Stadium, where the spiny lobster battle has just reached its conclusion. Our Iron Chefs, Morimoto and Vitali, have each prepared dishes using today's secret ingredient, the aforementioned spiny lobster. Now, before the tasting and judging begin, there are rules here. Handing over to Kevin Brosh.
Thanks, Alton. I hold in my hand the scorecard for Iron Chef America, and very quickly, here is how it works. A maximum of 10 points can be awarded for overall taste in the presentations, up to 5 points can be awarded for plating and the designs of the plates, and finally, another 5 points can be awarded for the originality in the use of tonight's special ingredient, spiny lobster.
Chef Morimoto,
Hi.
what was your theme?
Well, my theme is lobster. Lobster has a mild flavor, so with each dish, I've made something that has both a different texture, and I've defined it with a different flavor. Some of what I've prepared is raw, some of what I've prepared is tempura, and I also have some surprises to reveal.
May we taste?
Thank you very much.
Bon appetit.
First, this is lobster sashimi. It's blanched, then soaked in ice water and cognac, and it's served with fresh wasabi.
This wasabi is unlike anything I've ever tasted. So you're right, I probably never had the real wasabi.
It's very nice.
Naturally. So the next course is also raw. Chopped lobster mousse with soy milk. And on top is Osetra caviar. The texture on top is crunchy, and on the bottom is smooth.
I've never had a caviar that had that quite almost crunchy texture.
It's the freshness of the caviar. It works well together.
So
Yeah,
you think so?
very much so.
Yeah, nice choice with the soy.
My next dish is medium rare. I took the mousse and made a noodle-like pasta. It's cooked in a soup stock. The lobster is seared. It's not raw. And then on top, I made a very, very hot scallion oil with ginger and garlic.
Was there any lime in here?
No, it's not lime, it's yuzu.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice balance.
I don't think I've ever had noodles that had so much flavor. He infused
Also,
the lobster.
and the texture of the noodles, too.
Next is tempura with 3 different flavors. First is with lime and salt. The second is served with fresh wasabi aioli. And the last one is an Asian spicy miso.
I really like so far everything I've tasted. I like the way the wasabi works with that one, and the saltiness of the first course.
I don't think I've ever had tempura that had these wonderful sauces. Have you?
Thank you very much.
I think sometimes we have tempura batter and it tastes more like fried chicken, if you know what I mean. It has that kind of... But this has such a gentle, kind of almost a creamy texture to it.
That's why this is Iron Chef. So
These are river stones, and this has a very tender texture. It's lobster tail wrapped in kelp that gently cooks in hot river stones. I add sake and then serve with a sauce made from lobster heads and tails, called a sauce americaine.
That is as tender as lobster gets. That's a wonderful way to cook it. Wow.
Like butter. No, it's amazing. This is so lovely.
I have made up my mind. I'm going to now go out and find every river stone in the San Fernando Valley.
Okay, this is a soup with risotto and eggs. And I marry it with kelp and raw lobster meat, okay?
It's very complex.
Yes.
There's a lot of things that come out after you've tasted on your palate.
This has one of the strongest flavors that we've had so far. Definite lobster presence.
So you needed something at the end that was really strong in flavor and that would be more explosive.
Yes. This is my main course. This is pan-roasted lobster with an ethnic flavor, a Middle Eastern flavor, with coriander and ginger. It's spicy.
Yeah, there's a lot of scent from it. It's very spicy. Yeah.
Dip it in the creme fraiche on the side.
What's the flavor in the creme fraiche again?
It's the sugar and then a little bit the honey. Yeah.
It's very adventurous of you first time.
Morimoto, you honor us with this meal.
Thank you very much.
Fabulous.
Thank you.
And you've truly shown us again why you are an Iron Chef.
Thank you very much.
Chef Patali, could you describe to us what your approach was to today's battle?
My approach was to take the ingredient, the spiny lobster, and treat it in a creative way while retaining the integrity of certain classic Italian dishes.
Chef, may we begin?
Yes. This dish is a variation on something called vitello tonato, or veal in a tuna sauce. What we've done is we've taken the lobster, we've steamed it, taken it out of the shell, we've sliced it thin, we've put it on the plate. In addition to that, we've made a tuna tartare, and we've also taken something called botarga. That is a tuna roe, traditional to Sicilian cooking. There's a little bit of saffron sprinkled over the top of the tonato.
So it's very light, it feels very healthy actually, and you can taste how fresh the lobsters are too.
This is a sweet pea, rock shrimp, and sea urchin cappuccino. On top of it is frothed milk, and on top of that, to mimic the cocoa that you find in the cappuccino bars here in America, a little dried porcini powder. I took some peas and some lobster and some rock shrimp and some dried shrimp, made a stock out of the milk, caramelized some onions, put the whole thing together, and then zapped it with a processor.
That's such an innovative way to present a dish that makes it, it's like immediately you can't wait to see what's in it.
You could taste the foaminess on the top was nice for it. I like that touch to it.
This is perhaps the most conceptual of the dishes. It is a cannelloni, or 3 of them. Instead of using pasta, we've actually used thin slices of potato that we deep fried at a much lower temperature than normal. Then we took the lobster, cooked it with a little bit of scallions, a little bit of red onions, and rolled that up inside after having mixed it with about 30% ricotta.
So light, so light. And it truly, I mean, this is something that could have gotten out of hand in terms of the weight of it very easily.
Right. I like that a lot. And it's a nice follow-up to the last dish.
Well, this is a lobster saltimbocca. We've taken 2 pieces of the tail. In the middle of the piece is a slice of prosciutto di Parma. Then I dredged it in flour and I sautéed it. Then I created a sauce using an old marsala and these beautiful kyodi mushrooms on top, and then finishing it with a piece of dried sage over the top. Next to it is a salad of fresh hearts of palm, baby arugula, crispy fried sweetbreads, and black truffle.
The sweetbreads are extremely
Very Italian.
light.
Yeah, very earthy.
Yeah. When faced with an absolutely impossible ingredient, I can guarantee you that the best thing to do is wrap it up in something and fry it. And that's exactly what we've done here. We've made a zeppole dough. Into the zeppole dough, we've matched already something that's slightly abnormal, which is roasted corn. There's virtually no sugar in the dough or the batter or the lobster or the corn, so what that does is bring out a little bit of the natural inherent sweetness.
Just visually, it's very deceptive. You'd expect these to be hard as golf balls, and they are as soft as cotton swabs.
No, they're
They are
very
just
soft. Yeah, the
unbelievable.
texture is really, really moist.
These are so good.
Mm-hmm.
Chef Vitali,
Yes, sir.
magnificent.
Thank you.
We thank you.
All right.
Well, now the chefs have spoken, and it's time for the judges to have their say when Iron Chef America returns. Welcome back to Kitchen Stadium, everyone. I'm Alton Brown. Today, the masters, Iron Chefs Masaharu Morimoto and Mario Batali, have taken spiny lobster to new levels of culinary inventiveness. The judges have sampled their extraordinary creations, and they have voted. Now, to give us the news of the night, the chairman.
Today, two champions met on our glorious kitchen battlefield. But sadly, only one chef can triumph in this battle. And so now I am prepared to hand down our judges' verdict as we all discover, once again, whose cuisine reigns supreme. Today's winning master is Chef Mario Batali.
There are a total of 60 points possible. Iron Chef Batali received 57 points, while Iron Chef Morimoto received 51. In originality, Chef Batali only scored 1 point more than Morimoto. Plating was a dead heat. Taste is where Batali achieved his margin of victory. When you saw the cloth come off of that tank and you saw there was spiny lobster, what was your first thought?
Joy.
Joy, you were cool with it. You were down with the spiny
Again,
lobster.
having something live is something so good, and it's already giving you a step up on making great food.
Because it's fresh, because you are guaranteed, you're not going to have to look at that and say, cheapers.
I wonder where it was, right?
I wonder where it was. Like your style? For Mario Batali, this conclusion is sweet manna indeed. On behalf of our esteemed chairman, all the Iron Chefs, Kevin Brosh, and everyone here at Kitchen Stadium, until next we meet to see whose cuisine reigns supreme, I'm Alton Brown, bidding you a good night.
And then next one would be tempura, but 3 different flavors.
First is with lime and salt.
And then
The second is served with fresh wasabi aioli.
spicy miso. This is a plain, so I'm going to show you plain lobster tempura taste. And then go second one and go third one.
I really like so far everything I've tasted. I like the way the wasabi works with that one, and the saltiness of the first course.
It underscores the fact that we don't get fresh wasabi very often. And what a difference that brings to the lobster. Oh, that's really extraordinary.
You know, I in the past, I don't always order tempura in restaurants, but because it doesn't necessarily have the variety that you put on here, obviously.
So that's why I got
There's
a
so
lot.
much wonderful variety here. Just simply the lime and the salt and the wasabi and now the sweet and sour. It's
That's an incredible execution of lobster. That really is what the wasabi on it just is. Ladies and gentlemen, we must band together and fight for real wasabi. We're not going to take the fake stuff anymore. Go ahead, open up your windows, scream at the top of your lungs. It's all right. What do you do to make the tempura in this? Because that's a very smooth tempura. It's not a...
So I think I have to
Very
control
soft.
the temperature, I don't know, 180 Celsius. So I can put in my fingers. So yes.
So it's a slow cook. It's a
Yeah, not
low
so
cook.
quick.
But the actual tempura batter,
Yes.
as I say, it has a very gentle, very
So
gentle touch.
you have to mix with the ice water.
Well, I think, and again, it just goes back to what we usually eat, what we're used to in this country, is that sometimes we have tempura batter and it tastes more like fried chicken, if you know what I mean. It has that kind of, this has such a gentle kind of, almost a creamy texture to it.
That's why this is Iron Chef.
This dish is a variation on something called vitello tonato, or veal in a tuna sauce. What we've done is we've taken the lobster, we've steamed it, taken it out of the shell, we've sliced it thin, we've put it on the plate. In addition to that, we've made a tuna tartare, and we've also taken something called botarga. That is a tuna roe, traditional to Sicilian cooking. There's a little bit of saffron sprinkled over the top of the tonato. Absolutely one of my favorite things. It should create a slight amount of salinity around the outside. And what we're looking for in the sense of the balance is when lobster is on the plate, it is a giant piece of very rich meat. So what all of these accompaniments are trying to do is to lighten it when you have just the right amount. And the whole idea behind really good Italian food is the balance between both the fat and the acid, but also the lightness and the richness of certain components. Hence the small salad just strewn across the top kind of brings you a little bit more action to the palate without challenging you too much and allowing you to just kind of live there and enjoy it.
And the roe brings out a salty.
Salty, well, when we talk about anything from the sea, we talk about two flavors. The bottom, briny, deep, dark part of the sea, and then the foam on the top. The sea foam. And they're both kind of, they both have a little bit of salt to them, but there's entirely different ways of looking at it. So the tartare has that top of the sea foam. And the botarga is that Captain Nemo at the depths of the bottom.
Right. The acids really comes through too. It's very light. It feels very healthy actually, and what you can taste how fresh the lobsters are too.
It's amazing when you cook something from the moment that it's giving up its ghost and put it right on the plate. There is, if we all have that option every day in our kitchen, and the restaurants will all be better.
Describe the wine that you've chosen. It's very gentle.
The wine is a Pinot Bianco. And I like the fruitiness of it, and particularly with lobster, although a lot of people really like their really fat Chardonnays. I'm not such a big fan of Chardonnay because I can't taste the food with it. I like Chardonnay by itself, but when I try to match it with the food, I love the kind of bright, spritzy acidity to this wine, and that kind of plays against the fatness of the lobster without trying to overwhelm.
So these are just blanched, and then you take them out of the shell and slice it?
Exactly. And we don't cook them all the way through. As you can tell, right in the center of the heart of the tail pieces, there's just a little bit of uncooked or slightly rare. And I find that to be absolutely delicious. I'm not ready to eat a whole raw lobster yet, but something that's just a little undercooked, I think, really holds the flavor of the sea as well. There's a certain bright salinity to it.
Right. That's the texture of it, which is great.
And it gives you advantage of two different textures.
Right.
With the tuna, and the fresh herbs on top, and it really works well.
I'm so tempted to finish.
Don't finish, please. Save some room for there's 5 courses. This is a sweet pea, rock shrimp, and sea urchin cappuccino. On top of it is frothed milk, and on top of that, to mimic the cocoa that you find in the cappuccino bars here in America, a little dried porcini powder. I took some peas and some lobster and some rock shrimp and some dried shrimp, made a stock out of the milk, caramelized some onions, put the whole thing together, and then zapped it with a processor.
This is what happens. This is a little like saying, don't touch the plate, it's hot. Don't touch the bowl, it's pointy.
Live.
It's
so
pointy.
this
and
is,
of course, I'm one who always touches the plate to see how hot it is.
I'm the first one to put my thumb right down on it.
But tell us a little bit about these.
Sea urchins are alive when you get them.
Right.
They have a magnificent, briny, almost iodine flavor, much similar to the oysters from Washington State. My favorites are called the Olympias. This has a flavor similar to that in its iodine and slightly coppery flavor.
Is this salt
it's
at the bottom?
It's very delicate, the what?
Sea salt at the bottom?
Sea salt at the bottom. This is living in its own little natural world.
Oh, so this idea that it was somehow a cappuccino, you were just using that to froth the milk?
Well, in fact, the broth underneath is passed through the dried shrimp and all the other ingredients, very much in the kind of poetic way of thinking how they actually make coffee. They pass all the stuff through the grounds and then they extract that. So I have the extraction. There's no lobster meat left in it. I've cooked the lobster in it, but it's basically like a coffee or an infusion. So the cappuccino on the top, the foamy part, is just steam milk. We added no seasoning because we seasoned the soup relatively aggressively. And that earthy mushroomness, in my opinion, really reinforces the flavor of the delicate, almost evanescent lobster in the broth itself.
So you've done almost the same
You've
thing
made
again,
this
where you
before.
take the depth of it before. You take again the dark, the deep of the briny, and
Right,
mix
and then you mix it with the
juxtapose
foam, and
with
here's an exact
What's the
physical look.
spiciness that I'm getting from
I put in
the
some of
heat?
those Thai hot bird chilies into the steaming, into the broth itself, into the infusion, and then I just took them out. There was also a habanero in there and a serrano. Then the way that we cook the urchin is we took the urchin out, which is actually the roe, we put it in the cup and we never heat it up. So when I pour the hot soup into it, I stir it through and it just kind of evaporates into there, and it gives it, again, kind of the essence of the sea without really hitting you over the head with any fish or any seafood whatsoever. And to answer your question, no, I've never made this before, but I've thought about it a lot.
You've thought about it, that these would make perfect soup bowls?
Yes, well, I love them. Aren't they dramatic?
Yeah.
This at home is a kick thing because it's so
Well,
easy to
let me
do.
tell you something. It will thin the herd in the dishwashing department, I got to tell you.
This is perhaps the most conceptual of the dishes. It is a cannelloni, or 3 of them. Instead of using pasta, we've actually used thin slices of potato that we deep fried at a much lower temperature than normal. Then we took the lobster, cooked it with a little bit of scallions, a little bit of red onions, and rolled that up inside after having mixed it with about 30% ricotta. Then we put them in the oven and we heat them up. We made what's called a sugo finto, which is the tomato sauce that's underneath and on top of each one, just by taking tomato paste and cooking it until it emulsifies with a little bit of pancetta fat. There's also a little chili flake in there, so it's a little sweet and a little spicy. Then the broth is the lobster itself, just the heads cooked in water with mirepoix, and then spicy pimenton, another touch of Iberia. Then on top of that is a little bit of baby charred sprouts, tossed with just a little bit of the roe of the lobster that we steamed, and then froze in the little batch freezer down there, and then grated over it. And that's the bizarre kind of seemingly top of the sea brine that you're getting from just the salad component, which should kind of kick off against the base of the really hot chili broth and kind of come together in the right way.
Yeah, that chili's really come through on this one.
Wow.
The presentation is great.
And it's almost like a spaghetti alla matriciana. There's the pancetta, there's the chilies, there's tomatoes, everything. The only thing that's missing there is a hard-cooked spaghetti noodle, al dente.
So light. So light.
Yeah.
And it truly, I mean, this is something that could have gotten out of hand in terms of the weight of it very easily.
Right. Well, lightness for me is the hallmark of really good cooking. Great big gutsy flavors is really my specialty. But what happens often when you get great big gutsy flavors is that you really can only eat 2 or 3 bites of a particular course, or maybe just 1 plate of one kind of food. And being able to make it something that's very light is just using a little bit less fat, a little bit less cooking times, and allowing certain smaller components to really sing in a big way. And that's kind of the hallmark of what I'm trying to do in life in general. Well, this is a lobster saltimbocca. We've taken 2 pieces of the tail. In the middle of the piece is a slice of prosciutto di Parma. Then I dredged it in flour and I sauteed it. Then I created a sauce using an old marsala and these beautiful chiodi mushrooms on top, and then finishing it with a piece of dried sage over the top. Next to it is a salad of fresh hearts of palm, baby arugula, crispy fried sweetbreads, and black truffle. And what that does is it provides a counterpoint to the richness of the dish so that every other bite should at least have 1 little piece of heart of palm, so to kind of clear you out, because this is relatively rich. This is the one that I'm pulling out all the stops on. It's going to knock you down and take your name. And you should try the white wine first, and then clear your mouth, have another bite of the lobster, and try the red wine. And it's fascinating how much the wine in your mouth has an effect on how you can perceive the dish, particularly the long-lasting peacock's tail, the after flavor, after it's gone down your mouth and you've cleared out the wine, and just sit there. But it's nice to kind of see how 2 different wines can totally radically change something in your mouth.
It
And
just
that's with any
explodes
liquid.
when you're drinking.
Right.
It's like, ooh. Have you done this dish before?
Never in my life.
Wow, it's a big
I
gamble.
do like it a lot, though. I have to admit, I would consider putting this somewhere. In a
So
restaurant.
you did taste everything before you...
Before I brought it to you, yes, I did. Well, 10 points of the 20 of the whole thing is the flavor of the dish, and that, in my opinion, is that's the most important thing for a chef. His presentation comes and goes like taste in art and furniture and hemlines. So this is a light, simple presentation, but maybe 15 years from now, we'll look back at this presentation and say how silly it looks, which we do on the food of the 70s and the ties of the 70s.
I would have reevaluated my acting career based on what you just said.
There you go.
I'm concerned about the hair.
It is splendid, though.
Thank you. Some of it's real.
Heard you have a good golf game.
Bobby Flay is the only man that can hit a,
He's a good
golf
golfer.
ball with a cast iron skillet.
If I didn't waste so much of my time cooking, I'd be a better golfer too. When faced with an absolutely impossible ingredient, I can guarantee you that the best thing to do is wrap it up in something and fry it. And that's exactly what we've done here. We've made a zeppole dough. Into the zeppole dough, we've matched already something that's slightly abnormal, which is roasted corn. There's virtually no sugar in the dough or the batter or the lobster or the corn, so what that does is bring out a little bit of the natural inherent sweetness. We fried it in peanut oil, so it should be relatively clean. So the idea in the creation of this menu was to make it like a real meal in Italian culture. So you had your antipasto, you had a little soup, you had a little pasta, you have a little main course, now you have a little dessert, and all of them together add up to much more than the combination of the ingredients. It's the way that you feel after a really good Italian meal is because maybe it's intuitive in the Italian culture, or just the way the meal adds up is something that becomes very special. And if you do it right, it works so well, and if you don't, well, it's still all right, it's still good.